met in a bar in Westport. I don't really remember giving him my number, but we've been together ever since.
I gave her a call in a couple of days and found that she gave me the wrong number. But I was able to somehow track her down.
My mom's number. I had grown up in the church, grown up private Christian school, church 3 times a week, the whole bit. And I just kind of hit a point in my life where I felt like I was never going to be good enough. I was always I'm going to die and go to hell anyway, so I might as well have fun. And so I kind of jumped off the deep end. And in the midst of that is when I met Alistair. We were crazy together, lots of drinking and kind of anything else. We bound to have fun.
And I was pretty much living in a bar at the time. That was really how our relationship flowed for the next few years.
Then once we got married and started talking about having kids, we eliminated a lot of stuff but still drank pretty heavily.
Katie was seeing the problems and I wasn't, and unfortunately I wasn't willing to give up and focus on my family like I needed to.
It was all about, well, when can I go out and see my friends? A lot of our fights were about me trying to fight to get into the front seat and feeling like I was always in the back seat. I hit the point that I felt that there was no hope for change. And so I got my son and left that morning and told Alistair that I'd like him to get out, and I was done.
At that point, I felt that my life was over, and I chose at that time to basically end my life. But on the way to ending my life, that's when God first connected with me, and he spoke very clearly to me and told me that my son was going to need me. At the time, I still didn't really fully believe that God existed, but it did make enough of an impact in me to stop me in my tracks. And it definitely made a huge impact in the recovery that we were able to make as a family.
I reached out to Pastor Clint, just asked him if he could talk to Alistair.
He was able to give me some very good advice, told me to get involved with a group at the church that just started called Celebrate Recovery. And I thought, all right, I'm at this point in my life. I've pretty much lost everything, but I wanted to fight for Katie and Aiden, even though I hadn't shown it so far. Really what Celebrate Recovery did for me was it showed me that although I'd made mistakes, that Jesus had still died for me and that he still wanted a relationship with me. I'd been used to being able to rationalize life, and all of a sudden I couldn't have an answer to what I was experiencing through that relationship with God anymore. And then it wasn't just a story in a book. I was ready to jump in and really become a Christian.
It was a huge heart change. Like, this was a new guy, and I was getting to know a new person. We had several miscarriages. I laid it on the line with God, and I was like, all right, if you want us to have another child, I want to know. Like, I want to put this to bed. I want to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that we're doing what you want. Within a week, my 4-year-old comes up to me, and he's like, Mommy, is there a baby in your belly? And from that moment on, like every single day, he prayed, Jesus, send a baby from heaven in my mom's belly. And right away, we ended up with a little baby in our belly. We've always told Aiden that Liam is our gift from God. He's Alistair's gift for making the changes that he needed to make to keep our family together. He was my gift for sticking by him, and he was our poor son's gift for having to deal with the two of us.
When I read that the last thing that Jesus told us in his word was to go and make disciples of others, that really just made me sit up and realize that if that was the last thing he told us while he was still on this earth, it's got to be important.
We went out to the Dream Center and we heard all kinds of stories that just were mind-blowing. We're doing good stuff, we're working in the coffee bar, we're helping in the church, but what are we doing to expand the church, to reach out beyond the church?
With me, it started off really just wanting to show and explain to other people that was struggling like I'd struggled. I don't have to be a super Christian. I don't have to know every verse of the Bible, but I can still help people by just being real, just being honest and showing them some love.
We're getting ready to go back on the 4th trip to the Dream Center. Gonna get back out there and spend a week serving on the streets of LA, feeding the homeless, and just look them in the eyes and treat them like real people. Going out and serving, sometimes you come back and you're so pumped and just have that joy overflowing.
It's tough to explain how peaceful we feel right now with God, and being in his presence and being close to him and knowing that he loves us and knowing that he wants us to show other people his love. It's a nice place to be.